All right. Happy Thursday, everyone, live. Today, my name is Stephanie. We're at Brain Training for Parkinson's. Today, we're going to be needing your ball that you've been working with maybe in the past couple classes. I like this ball. It has letters on it, so it gives my eyes something to track. And you'll see what I mean by that in a little bit. And then also today, we're going to be working on some sensory integration of our body. So you're going to need something spiky. A brush or a comb works great, but something that has kind of this spikiness to it. Again, a brush is perfect because it has a nice handle and everything on it. All right. So first of all, we're going to do our check-in as we always do at the beginning of class. Remember, we have to check in with our bodies to see how we're feeling, see what our baseline is. And then we'll do our neurological interventions. We'll do some movement, and then we'll come back at the end of class and check back in and see if we created some sort of change in our body, and hopefully there was a change, a positive change. So right here, go ahead and just stand on top of your feet. If you want to use a wall or a chair to help you balance, if you need that, or your walker, anything that you need to do to keep balanced and safe, go ahead and rock forward onto the balls of your feet. So the forefoot, and then you're just going to lower your heels down and rock back just a little bit. Now, if you have a tendency, you know yourself that you fall backwards easily, maybe back yourself up against a couch or a chair so that if you do stumble backwards, you have something to catch you. So we're just going to rock forward and rock back, rock forward and back. And notice how far forward can you go, maybe without kind of doing a tipping thing in the trunk, and how far back can you go on your heels without feeling like you need to kind of scoot your butt back too. So just starting to feel the weight shift between the forefoot and the back foot. Now, all of this, especially at the beginning of class, but definitely throughout the class, we are trying to connect our brain and our body together a little bit more. So we're always trying to feel and sense what we're experiencing so that we can internalize that a little bit better, and then it stays with us for several days, hopefully post class. Okay, so this isn't just an intervention to help you in this hour. This is meant to install some new practices, some new brain and body mindful practices that help you throughout the rest of your week and hopefully long term. Okay. All right. So we did forward, back. Let's go ahead and do right and left. So you're going to shift right and left in your feet. And you may even feel like you can go so far over that you can go on the blades of your feet, so the full edges. Yeah. So can you sort of even flip up on your ankles? Yeah. How far over can you go without toppling over? And again, use your balance device if you need to. Now let's go ahead and go in a circle. So you're going to go sort of upper left quadrant, upper right quadrant, woo, back right quadrant, and back left quadrant. Okay. Again, how far can you go in those areas? And I like to push myself so far that I almost fall. That's how I know I've gotten to my edge. That's how I know. Of course, being safe. I'll just keep saying that, being safe and feeling that our environment is going to catch us if we need to, if we need that. All right, go ahead and switch the direction of your circle. So you're going to go around, back, around, and forward. Taking notice of just, all the different areas on the bottom of the foot that you are able to work through. Okay. So later on in class, when I'm cueing, stay on the big toe part of your foot, you understand what that means because we've visited that here. We've been on the big toe part of your foot, especially in that upper quadrants. Yep, last circle through. Good. And then go ahead and just, we're going to tread through your feet. So bend one knee and bring your heel up. And then see if you can lift up onto both toes or both balls of your feet, and then lower one heel down, and then lift up onto both balls of the feet, and then lower down. And again, use a wall, use your walker, use a chair, use anything that you need if you need some sort of balance support. Yeah. And then if you're feeling good with that, we can go a little bit more on a tempo, maybe working at my pace, holding the rhythm. You can add a snap for yourself, if that helps you. There we go. I'm hoping to do a whole class in the future on like rhythm and tempo. I need to do a little bit of research before we get into that, but this is going to be part of it. Good. We'll go for 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good. Nice. Go ahead and stomp out your feet. Ooh, I'm at my studio today. I can actually stomp my feet really hard. I don't have downstairs neighbors. Good. Go ahead and swing those arms and get really temper tantrum-y. Yeah. Good. Letting that vibration come all the way up through your feet, through your knee bone, your leg bones, your knees, your thigh bones, your hips. Maybe you even feel your head shake from it. I like it. Sally's starting to go into a trot. Maybe we go into a little bit of a jog. There we go. Of course, you can stick with that temper tantrum if that's for you. We're going to go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Walk around your room. Take a moment. Okay, we just had a temper tantrum. We shook it all out. Now we got to recoup, bring ourselves back. Take notice as you're walking around the room, what you're feeling in your body. Do you feel yourself sticky, smooth? Big strides, small strides, strides in front of you, strides behind you, narrow feet, wide feet. Do your arms swing naturally without thinking about it? Or are they pretty much by your side? Do you feel sort of easy and casual, or do you feel robotic? And what I'd like to know too is how your feet are moving on the ground. So we did a little bit of awareness already on weight shifting in your feet. Can you feel where on your foot you first touch the ground in your walk? And I know it's fast because we go step, 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 but feeling how you make contact with the ground, initial contact, and then you're sort of rolling through your foot, and then you lift off the ground, maybe on a different part of your foot. And I'm not going to tell you where that is because it might be different for everyone, but there is initial contact, maybe that mid stance, and then the push off. And those may be all the same place or different places. So just taking note on what that feels like. Excellent. Nice job. All right, let's warm up our eyes a little bit. If you have been coming to class, you know this. I'm just going to review. In this class, we take our sensory organs or our sensory inputs. So how we bring in sensory information informs how we both feel our bodies and how we react to our environment and how we move. Okay, so when we integrate our eyes, our inner ear, our vestibular system, and then how we feel, proprioception would be maybe how we feel, that's going to inform our movement. So we're going to warm up our eyes first. Take your object. It can be the letter ball, the official letter ball, or it can just be a tennis ball, any ball. Go ahead and toss it up to yourself and catch it. And again, if you've been coming to class for a few times, you'll kind of know how this goes, but I kind of want to give the newer people a moment to go through the process. So now start throwing the ball in kind of some crazy different ways. Maybe you arc it to yourself and try to keep your eyes on the ball the whole time. Try to keep your eyes on the ball the whole time. So as it lifts up, you're tracking it. And especially when you catch it, now, especially when you catch it, take the ball, hold it, make awkward eye contact with that ball, and then go into your next toss. If you have a letter ball, you're going to say out loud the first letter or number you see. X, T, 7, 8. I'm going to stop because that will confuse you. But right here, we're making eye contact with that ball, converging on that ball. 2 more. And last one. Good. Nice job. Let's just do a little bit of shoulder stretches. So we're going to bring the ball behind your back, pass it to the other ball, and then pass it to the other hand, and then bring it in front. Just working behind the back. I like this one too, because the ball goes out of sight. So you're like, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Can you feel it? Can you make it happen? Make it go right into the next hand without looking at it, right? It's proprioception. Let's switch the direction. And I know smaller balls are a little bit easier to palm. So I understand if the hand size is an issue too. Good. Nice. One more time. Woo! And last one. Good, good. We're going to take the ball up in your left hand, up towards the ceiling, maybe up on the diagonal. Good. And your other hand's going to be down on the opposite diagonal. This is kind of from your big program. So we're going to take the ball and reach it all the way down to the opposite pinky and then lift up towards the ceiling. Okay. Drop down and then up. Good. Drop down and then up. We're going to go for two more. Drop down and then up. Last one. Drop down and then up. Beautiful. Go ahead and pass that ball around. Pass that ball around. Pass that ball around. Good, good. Say that letter or number that comes to you. Good, good. Couple more. We're going to go for four more. Three more. Two. And last one. Nice job. Here we go. Ball up on the upper right quadrant. We're going to take that up ball over to the opposite side. Touch your pinky toe on the opposite side. And then up towards the ceiling on the upper diagonal. Just making sure my technology is working. All good. Up and up. And down and back. Up and up. Down and back. Beautiful. Take your eyes and start tracking that ball as it comes down toward your pinky and up towards the ceiling. So now we're working diagonal eye tracking. Good, good. Last one. Nicely done. And release. Go ahead and just pass your ball to yourself. Say the letter or number that you're seeing as you catch it. You can get a little wild. If you have a wall nearby, you can pass it off of a wall. That'll make that a little bit more spontaneous. Good. Eye tracking to catch the ball. Say the letter or number out loud if you have that letter ball option. Or make awkward eye contact with your ball. Yeah. Good. We'll go two more. And last one. Good, good. And release, shake it out. How are we doing? Good? All right, we're going to channel our basketball player, Steph Curry. So we're going to go ahead and split your stance. Let's have your right foot forward and your left foot split back just a little bit. Ball is in the left hand. We're going to pass underneath. You might bend your knees a little bit underneath and then over the top. I know my ball goes out of the frame. Pass it underneath and over the top. Good. I'm going to say look forward for the first few on this one just till you get the gist. Because when you start tracking the ball with your eyes, it can get a little dizzying. If you're feeling ready for it, go for it. So we're going to track and track and track and track. Now, you don't have to move fast and fast. In fact, if you move fast, it's going to be a little bit harder. So if you get there and you're like, whoa, that was way too much. Good. Last one. And reach. Nice job. Switch to the other side. Switch to the other side. We got left foot forward, right foot back. Arms in a T. Pass underneath. So we're going to look forward first. Pass underneath and then up overhead. Pass the ball. Yep. Underneath and pass. Nice. I love how the ball gives us a target, right? We really have to reach up to stretch and grab the ball, drop down to make that pass be able to happen, and then reaching up. If you want to track the ball with your eyes, go ahead. Again, it gets a little bit gnarly. And remember, you don't have to go fast. Very good. There's lots of balance involved with this one. Yep, 3 more. 2 more. And last one. Good, good. And release out. Go ahead. Last time through, we're going to pass the ball to ourselves. I encourage you, if you have a wall available to you, without picture frames or anything, try bouncing the ball off of the wall. It'll be a little bit more chaotic. That's what we need for that neuroplasticity. All right, here we go. We go up. Nice. Awkward eye contact with your ball, or say the letter or number out loud when you see it. Make that convergence, make your eyes converge on the ball. Yeah. Good. We'll go 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Good. Go ahead and walk around the room. Just take a lap around the room. Let your nervous system kind of come back to something that's familiar to you. Walking is familiar. Just walking around the room. Casual, relaxed. Right, Trace? We're trying to calm down our nervous systems. We're trying to calm them down. Trace doesn't like loud noises. You don't like noises, do you? All right, come on back to your mat or your area here. We're going to grab that spiky object. So hairbrush, comb. I have this fun spiky ball, but anything that's going to give you a little bit of that sensory experience. And then, as I mentioned, either on or off camera, the more skin you have exposed, so if you're wearing shorts or a tank top, the better. So if you're watching the recording and you're wearing long sleeve shirts and pants, maybe press pause and go change. It's not that big of a deal if you're working over clothing. It's just better when you have contact with your skin. Okay. So you can take a seat for this one. I'm going to just be kneeling so that I can still be in the frame of the camera. But we're going to start with, let's start with your right hand or your right arm kind of reaching out. And we're going to take that spiky object and we're just going to brush all of our arm with that spiky object. Yeah. And again, if you are wearing clothes, no big deal. You can either like roll up your sleeves. There you go. Yeah, roll up your sleeves. If you're wearing clothes that you cannot roll up, no big deal. Just try to push hard enough so that you get tugging of the skin. So the idea here is that you want the skin to shift. That is critical for this intervention here. That's critical. You want the skin to be shifting. Yeah. Big long strokes are good. Like you're playing violin on a, I've never played violin before. Good. And then go ahead and also rub your hand. And maybe some strokes out through the fingers. So this way. Yeah, nice. Keep going. All of the fingers. Good. And I hope we're still on the same side, right? We're all still on that right hand. Good. Last time through. Maybe the back of the shoulder too, if you can reach. Good. This is like taking a shower, right? All right. Put your object down and just let yourself hang for a second. Maybe close your eyes. And notice if you feel a difference between the right side and the left side. So the side that you just stimulated and the side that maybe was actually working quite hard to stimulate. Good. And when we have better awareness and feeling in our limbs, we're going to be able to control and move them better. So let's go ahead and do some movement on this side before we do the other side. You're going to take your left hand still and place it on your collarbones, or maybe more the tip of your shoulder. And I kind of go underneath my tank top strap here. And we're going to have our right hand here waving, maybe playing piano. Shoot your right hand up like you have a big giant question that you're eager to ask. Go ahead and shoot your arm up. Yep. And then bring it back down. You're like, oh no, I forgot my question. Remember those kids in class? We're going to shoot the arm up. As you shoot the arm up, traction your left hand across. So I now have the sunbeam, but so basically it's going to look like this. I'm going to pull the skin across this way as my arm is coming up. Okay. So we're going to traction and reach and then reset. Traction and reach and reset. And again, if you're on the skin, that's even better because you want to tug the skin. You want to pull it. Reaching up. Reaching up. Try to get that elbow all the way straight. You guys know that big motion. Push past that target. 2 more. And last one. Yeah, nice job. And then shake it out. All right, let's do the other side. What do you think? Worth doing the other side so we can feel the other side just as well? Yeah. All right, so right here, we're going to go ahead and brush through that side. Yeah. Big strokes, like all the way from the top to the bottom. There you go. Good. You can even get a little bit on your back, working your shoulder mobility there. Ooh, that always feels good. Little back scratcher. Definitely on the inside of the arm. So by tugging the skin, here's your knowledge drop. By tugging the skin, we activate our interoceptors, which are just below the surface of the skin. Interoceptors inform us of what we're feeling. Okay, so there's kind of like we're putting our skin sensors on high alert. They're primed and ready to go. And then make sure we get that hand as well. So brushing through the palm, and then each individual finger pull across. And then all the way through. Yeah. Make sure you get every finger and then even the back of the hand a little bit. Good. And then rest and kind of let your arms hang. Now you might be hyper aware of your left arm in comparison to your right arm. If you want to even look down at your color, hopefully you have a little bit more color in your arms. And then let's go ahead and do our overhead press here. So I again, put my hand underneath on my skin, grab the tip of the shoulder and pull in just to your center right here. So we're going to go overhead and traction and then release. Overhead and traction and release. Nice. Overhead and traction. Yep. Overhead traction. Good. Reach. Easy trace. Easy. Overhead traction. Good. 2 more. And last one. Beautiful. Shake it out. Nicely done. How are we feeling? Good? All right. I'm just going to bump this down so it's a little bit lower for some of the floor work that we're going to do. All right. Let's go ahead and make your way down to the floor if you're not already here. Make some space. Yep. Good. So in addition to the brain training work, we'll be doing some mat, kind of mat work, floor work, Pilates, I guess, contemporary Pilates, my style of Pilates. Right here, let's go ahead and tuck your toes and separate your fingers really, really wide. Good. So similar to what we did at the very, very beginning of class where we were kind of weight shifting through the different parts of the feet, we're going to weight shift through the different parts of your hand. So first shift forward so that you put a little bit more pressure on the finger pad and then shift back so you have more pressure on the heel of your hand. Okay, so we're shifting forward and shifting back. It's not exactly the same as the feet, but we're going to kind of replicate that a little bit. So as you shift forward, feel how maybe you get more pressure, more stretch on the bottom of the foot. And then as you shift back, there's some release of the pressure. Good. One more time. And then let's go right and left as well. So you're going to go over to the pinky side on one side, push off, go over to the pinky side on the other side. And make sure that you're not just moving your shoulders right and left, but you're actually weight shifting. So like maybe even getting light off of one hand. Good. Nice. Okay, and then we're going to go around the world on this one. So we're going to come upper right quadrant over the top of the fingers, back. We're not shifting all the way back over the heels. We're just coming to the back part of the hand. Remember, we want to take that, make that mental connection into the hands. Feeling all of the area of the hand that can support us in our quadruped positions. Go ahead and switch the direction of your circles. Good, last one. Nice job. And release. Perfect. Let's bring our knees forward and either sit off to the side or cross the legs over. Somehow get your legs back out in front of you. However you want to transition that. That'll be a different day working on transition. And then come on down to the mat with your feet flat and your knees bent. And we should be ready here and familiar for a bridging exercise. All right. I talked about a little bit about this, I think like 2 classes ago, talking about how you can connect your feet into the ground for your bridging, for more effective bridging. So let's go ahead and press your hips up for that first bridge. And then do me a favor and walk your shoulders a little bit more underneath you so that you're more on the tops of your shoulders as opposed to kind of just like flat on your mid back. Good. Now right here, you're holding your bridge and you're working. Just listen to my words for a couple. From here, go ahead and rock to the outer sides of your feet while in your bridge, and your knees may splay out a little bit. And then work to the big toe side of your foot, but then maybe your knees come inward a little bit. Okay, so we'll just do that a few more times. Rock to the outside of your foot while in your bridge, and then work to the inside of your foot and definitely on your big toe when the knees come in. We'll do that 3 more times. Out, in, out, in, last one, out, in, and then go ahead and rest your hips down. Still keeping your feet flat, but widen out your feet a little bit more. One side, and notice how when you do that, you come on to the blades of your feet. Sorry, just making sure my. So when your knees come off to one side, your feet come to the blades of your feet. And then swivel over to the other side and notice that you'll get on the blades of the feet. Yep. So as you're working through that, you go right to left with the knees, but really consciously noticing how your feet roll through from the one edge of the foot to the other edge of the foot. Right? Good. All right. Center your feet back up for your second set of bridging. So you can have your palms facing up, collarbones wide. Go ahead and press your hips up towards the ceiling and hold, widen out through those shoulders. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and try to keep our weight on the big toe side of your foot. So the middle of your foot, your big toe definitely needs to be pressing down. Can you flare your toes, your other 4 toes up towards the ceiling? Yeah, any cramps? And then place those 4 toes back down and release your hips. Okay, let's go for that again. Press the hips up. Sort yourself out so that you come onto the big toe side of your foot. Your big toe is pressing down. And if you can, lighten up the other 4 toes on either foot. Center back out and then go ahead and release. Nice. One more time there. Press up. Work through the big toe side of your foot and flare your other 4 toes. And then press back down. Nice job. Feet wide again. Go ahead and rock your knees from right to left, rolling through from the inside blade to the outside blade of your foot. Good. Nice. And then go ahead and set yourself up one last time for bridging. Heels come or feet come more underneath you and your arms out wide. Press your hips up towards the ceiling. Nice high bridge. We're going to take your right hip and rock it down towards the mat. Now, when you rock your right hip down towards the mat, try to keep your right big toe on the ground. You may have a tendency to want to rock the knee out. So keep your big toe and then press back up. Establish your left big toe on the ground as you drop the left hip down and then back up. So you're going to feel yourself sort of on the inside blades of your feet when you're rocking your hips. Good. Nice. And I want the knees to be really like roughly narrow, pretty narrow. Feet should be almost touching maybe. There you go. We're going to go for 2 more. I love these rocking hips. These are like walking hips. Last one. Good. And release the hips back down to the mat. Nice job. From here, send your legs out long. Trace, he's so anxious right now. Go ahead and bring your arms and legs out wide. Good. And then we're going to kind of do the same thing that we did earlier where we, but now our legs are straight, where you're going to roll the feet to one side. So your toes are facing to the right maybe. And you'll notice that the thighs also roll with that. I think of this as like an Egyptian image, right? Where their like toes and hands are like facing one direction. And then switch to the other side. So your toes are facing to the left. Dorsiflex your feet so you have the feet, tops of the feet towards the shins. So a little minutia there. Go ahead and work from right to left there. Getting what's called internal rotation and external rotation in your hips. So if you're pretty in tune with your body, you may even feel like your femur bones are rolling in their sockets. And I know we haven't fully gotten there yet with our understanding of anatomy and proprioception, but it's there. Yeah. Beautiful. So you're sort of steering with your feet, and this can go as slow as you'd like to go, whatever you need to do to kind of. Good. Nice job. From here, bring your toes to the ceiling, dorsiflex your feet still. We're going to reach your left arm. Go ahead. Push through your left foot and steer your toes to the right. Yep. And you're going to land on your side of your body. Good. Go ahead and bring yourself back onto your back fully. Both feet are going to stay on the floor. All of your body stays on the floor pretty much, except your arm. So you're going to bring your arm up to the ceiling. We're going to reach the arm across, steer the feet over to the left side as you roll onto your left hip. And then bring it back. And then bring it home. So what I'm trying to get at here is how you can use your feet to steer the rest of your body. Feet go to the right, reach up and over and continue the roll. And then return. Feet go over to the left, up and over, continue the roll. And back down. We'll do that one more time each side. Feet steer over to one side and then you roll through the body. Yep. And then bring it back. Your heels should always be on the floor. Always be on the floor, your heels. Shift over, steer and reach. Good. And then go ahead and bring it back. Nicely done. Good, good. Let's go ahead and bend your knees up one last time. I did say that was our last set of bridging, but we are going to do one more set. For the arms, we used the ball to help us bring some awareness to our arms and hands. But we're going to take advantage of the floor to help us understand what's going on in our body. So go ahead and press your hips up towards the ceiling for your bridge and stand on top of your shoulders, just like we did before. And we're going to roll your spine down to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. and use the floor underneath us as a way to feel how fast or how slow we're moving and what spots feel a little bit more clunky than others. So if we start at the top of the ribs and we let the upper ribs get heavy, and so we're only letting maybe kind of like tips of the shoulder blade and up be on the mat, but everything else is off the ground. Okay, so we're using, again, the ground to help us feel what our body's doing. And then we're going to come down another maybe third of the spine. So like the top of your pants, top of the waistband of your pants and higher is on the ground, but the other part is not. And you should be able to feel that with the ground. And then go ahead and release it all the way down. Tail is on the ground, so flat on the ground. Okay. All right, go ahead and bridge back up again. Using the ground to help us feel our body. We're going to go heavy in the ribs. We just have that upper half, or sorry, upper third-ish. And then we add in that second third. We press down into the ground, and then we add that. Feel. Last one right here. Press the hips up. We're going to go down in the upper third, down in the mid third, and down in the lower. Good. Can we do that same sort of process on the way up, where we go bottom third lifts? So we have the bottom third off the ground, but the other part is on the ground. Come up so that we have 2/3 off the ground. And then we have our full spine off the ground. Maybe we're just standing on the tops of your shoulders. Good. Same thing on the way down. We've already done this one, so we're just going to go through it a little quicker. Roll through from top to bottom. Coming. Good. In your bridging, I want your feet to be a little bit more narrow, more under your sit bones, knees together. Yeah, there you go, Carrie. Tuck the tail, peel the bottom part, and then the middle part, and then the upper part. And then we go down kind of in the same way, maybe 3 sections, maybe there's 5 sections this time on the way down. Okay, one from the bottom up, tuck the tail through. Yep. And then rolling down. Good. And release. Nice job. Let's bring your knees into your chest. And from here, go ahead and start kicking through your legs so that we can get this rocking motion. If you're lucky, we'll come up to a seated balance and then roll back again. Seated balance and then roll back again. Yeah. Nice. Good. We'll do 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Nice job. All right, finish seated and grab your hairbrush or your little sensory tool. And similar to what we did on the arms, we're going to do to our legs. And I'm just taking a note here. Whenever I teach class, I have little revelations in my own body. So I'm like, wow, I feel my back like really good. Like I'm very aware of my back right now. All right, so I'm going to just stretch one leg out. You can certainly do this seated in a chair if your hamstrings are a limiting factor for you. But we're just going to do the exact same thing. So just taking your ball or your hairbrush and giving yourself some brushing. So as I said before, wearing shorts or having skin exposure is better. But sometimes we're just wearing leggings. So just do what you can. Roll up your leggings, roll up your pants. Make sure you get the tops of your feet too. We don't really think about the tops of our feet getting that much love. And the tops of your thighs. And then, especially if you haven't already, make sure you bend your knee up and you get the back of your calf and the back of your thigh. Things on the, areas of our body on the back of us, like our backs, our thigh, the back, our hamstrings, our calves, things behind us, we don't really think about because they're behind us. So making sure that we bring a little bit of awareness there too. Good. And then go ahead and stretch your legs out in front of you and maybe have a little knee temper tantrum. Why do I keep saying temper tantrum? Am I bringing out like this? Like, yeah, is there something going on in my head that I need like a real temper tantrum? And then just feel between the right versus the left leg. You're like, oh, okay. It's either going to be you feel the same on both sides, you feel a little bit different, you feel maybe a little bit more alert on the side that you just did, hopefully. And then go ahead and start working through that other side when you're ready. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm fully convinced this is why I think like shaving your legs feels so good in some ways, because you're like tugging the skin and like exfoliating that skin too. Maybe for guys that's a different or same experience for the face. I don't know. But also, like, if you think about it too, I'm such a glutton for back scratches. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that like my back doesn't get a lot of attention kind of on the day to day. And so when I get my back scratched, I'm like in heaven. Make sure you work the back of your body, as we just said, and definitely the tops of your feet. Good. All right. And then shake out the knees. Wow. I actually feel like my hamstrings got a little looser after that. See, I'm learning things too as we go through this. All right, we're gonna bring even more awareness to the backs of those thighs. So go ahead and fold up one leg and we're just gonna give it a slap. And the calves as well. We're gonna say muscles, wake up. Go ahead and swap to the other side. And your calf, if you didn't already get that. Good, good. And then have a little temper tantrum in those legs last time. Excellent, nice job. All right, we're gonna cross those legs over. Somehow find yourself in a quadruped position, hands and knees. We're back to this hands and knees position. Since we have so much awareness of our hands, our feet, our legs, our spine, we're feeling all the parts of our bodies. We're going to do just a little bit of whole body movement here, kind of get everything tightened up. So we're going to shift back over your heels with your hips. If your feet can tolerate it and you want to tuck your toes underneath, that's even better. You get a little stretch on the bottom of the feet. And then go ahead and shift forward over your wrist. So we did a little bit of this before, but now it's more of a full body rock. Shift forward, shift back. Keep your eyes forward as if you were spotting something there. Yep. And we're going to do about 2 more of these. And then here's the kicker. We're going to take your right foot to your right pinky. So it's going to shift back, right foot to right pinky. And if it takes like a little bit to kind of get there, no big deal. Just kind of take your time. There we go. Enjoy that. Sink into that stretch for a little bit. Good. And then let's bring that foot back behind us. Go back into that rocking. Yep. And then kind of give yourself a countdown for the left foot to left pinky. 3, 2, 1. Step. Yes. Did we land it? Let yourself sink into that hip stretch for a few. You can rock. You can kind of bounce. And then bring that foot back. We're going to do one more on each side. Shift back, shift forward, shift back, shift forward. Give yourself a countdown. And then right foot to right pinky. Maybe when you're in that position here, you're going to look at both your foot and your hand to give yourself also a visual representation of like, oh, there's my foot and there's my hand. You know, like babies, when they first discovered they've got like fingers and toes, they're so fascinated. And then step back, Now we're like, old news. No, it's so important because that's how we map it in our brain, and then we remember to use them a little bit more, integrate them. And other side, last time. Take a moment to appreciate your toes and your fingers. Wow, that's so cool. Good, good. And then bring it all the way back. We're going to sit back over your heels. You can either sit low or go into a high kneeling. So if your knees do not tolerate this, just come into a high kneeling. Make some fists with your hands and roll out your wrists. Switch the direction of your wrist rolls. Good. Bring it on down to hands and knees again. And right here, we're going to do right hand is going to float. Left knee is also going to float off the ground. Step both of them forward. There's your first step in a crawl. Left hand, other hand floats, opposite knee floats, and then step forward. Float, step forward, float, step forward, float, step forward, float, step forward. When you run out of space, we're going to go backwards. Same thing. Opposite hand and leg lift at the same time. Opposite hand and leg lift at the same time. Whoa, backwards walking takes a little bit more thought. When you run out of space, we're going to go forward again. Foot and hand lift at the same time. Foot and hand lift at the same time. When I say foot, I mean knee. Nice job. One more time, forward and back. I mentioned this last week. Crawling, maintaining that ability to be on your hands, so important. If you fall and you need to crawl yourself over to, a phone or the couch to get back up. My dad is getting to that point where he's not getting, he falls a lot. So I need to make sure that he maintains that crawling ability. That's like number one priority for us. Good. All right. Right here, we're going to go ahead and sit back on our heels, shake out your wrists again. Nice. And then figure out how you want to get up off the floor. I'm going to demonstrate a way, a strategy. If you want to do it my way, you can. If you have your own way, you can too. We're going to go A-frame. Walk your hands back. Know that if you overshoot, you might stumble backwards. So keep your weight on your forefoot, things we've talked about today. And then nice and slow, maybe if you want to crawl up your knees to bring your trunk up and then come up to stand, or don't use your knees. Good. Walk around the room for me and see how you feel. Taking note of how you feel now versus how you felt at the beginning of class. And I'll give you some of those points that I brought up last time. So how smooth or how rigid is your stride? Is your stride in front of you? Is it behind you? Is it narrow? Is it wide? Do your arms swing naturally without thinking about it? Or are they straight by your side? Do you feel like a robot, or are you pretty glidey? Glidey is a real word. And then I talked a little bit at the beginning too about how your foot rolls through in your stride, and that's really important. So let's look at that for a bit. So recall what your strategy was at the beginning of class, and now maybe you're finding that you're striking the ground maybe just in front of your heel or on your midfoot. And you're rolling to the pinky side of the foot and then over to the big toe just before push off. So when you're stepping through and you're pushing off for your next step, you want to be pushing off that big toe. That's why I was cueing that so much in your bridging. Big toe connection. Good. All right, take some mental notes on how that was. Come back to your mat and go ahead and either in a chair or your mat, take a seat or lay down on your back. And we're going to do that download. So we learned some new skills. We felt some new things. We explored some new ways of moving and connecting to our body. We have to take some time to download all that information, install it into our brain, into a more permanent place than just this fleeting 55-ish minutes. So go ahead and find a comfortable spot. Make sure your body's comfortable and grounded. You can close your eyes. That's a nice way to hone in. And we're just going to take 2 minutes of quiet to download all that information, replay the session back in your brain. We did a lot today. Place all that information in a more permanent place. Start to gently rock yourself, either moving your knees right and left, rocking your hips, pumping your feet. We've done that in the past. Yeah. Good. And we're going to do 3 physiological sighs. So it's going to be an inhale through the nose twice, and then a very long exhale through the mouth. All right. So we're going to go sniff, sniff, exhale through the mouth. And you can make it audible. That's even better. Sniff, sniff, exhale. On those inhales, try to get all the way all the air in your lungs you can. Inhale, take more, and then big exhale. Nicely done. Go ahead and lift yourself up. Excellent work, everyone. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to share them after I turn off the recording, or you can email me, stephcomella@gmail.com, to share your experience. Thanks for coming.